Hello, welcome back to another astrology lesson with Bree. Go ahead and grab you a coffee, fueled by crystals and coffee here, except it's cappuccino. All right, so today we're going to talk about all things Venus. Let's dive right in. Quick, I want to say that I got my sources from wikipedia.com, allure.com, and astrology.com. All right, here we go. All things Venus. Venus is the second planet from the sun, and it is named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty. Venus is the brightest natural object in the sky aside from the moon. On rare occasions can be seen in broad daylight with the naked eye. I've never seen Venus in the sky, unfortunately, but I'm definitely going to try to be more aware of when I can now. And real quick, remember that when we were growing up, you get the boys are from Mars and girls are from Venus. Mars is a masculine planet and Venus is a feminine planet. It's a planet of feminine energy. And aside from that, Venus is the closest twin to Earth as far as size goes. And Venus are nearly equal in size. Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra, and she is the planet of pleasure, bringing love and art in all forms. She is also the planet of love, attention, and money flow. Let's talk a little bit about what it means when Venus is retrograde. Mars retrograde is the least frequent of them all. Venus spends the least amount of time in retrograde motion. Stations in retrograde every 18 months. It's actually moving backwards in the sky. So this is where I guess I get a little bit confused. I didn't have time to do more research. So if you know this, jump in the comments and let me know. But as far as when we're talking about Mercury retrograde yesterday, and I was pretty sure that it is an optical illusion because it's being passed by other planets and it appears to be going slower. But everything I found out says that Venus actually does move backwards, tracing 15 to 18 degrees zodiac over a period of 42 days. Our last Venus retrograde was actually last summer from May 12th to 24th in 2020, and she was in the sign of Gemini. And since it's every 18 months, we're not going to have Venus in retrograde again until December 21st of this year until, I believe, January 24th, and then she will be in the sign of Capricorn then. I won't see her in retrograde again until 2023 when she will be in the sign of Leo. So if you were anything like me at all, super interested in astronomy and astrology, and every day, like I said, reading horoscopes, seeing all of the articles about, oh, it's retrograde season, this is squaring this, and that's what this means. And I always read it and I was like, how do these people know this? How do they figure it out? All right, well, let me tell you a little bit about what Venus in retrograde actually means for us as a collective, and then how it's separate a little bit for depending on our zodiac signs. And then at the very end, we're gonna briefly touch on finding Venus in your birth chart, what that means, and of course there's a link below to go ahead and find where your Venus is in your birth chart, and you're probably going to figure out and learn some new things about yourself, probably things you already knew, but sometimes it's nice to know that the universe is like, hey, I know this about you, you are this person. It's like, wow, that describes me to a T. Venus spends 7% of her time in retrograde, which is the least amount over all of the planets, but at the same time, this 7% of time in retrograde is really strong and it's really impactful to us. She is tasked with the personality and the psyche. The effects are much more profound. Venus represents love and money issues, as well as any relationship challenges you might be having. Also be a time of healing and finding closure from old partners or old relationships. I thought it was pretty interesting. I guess when Venus is in retrograde, you can actually expect old exes, lovers, flames to message you to try to find that closure. Or it could be you messaging an ex trying to find closure. This is actually really positive because it helps us gain perspective at the time. These are obviously things that are in the way back of our subconscious that we don't really think about. And Venus in retrograde really brings it up to the surface for us so we can go ahead and find that closure and let it go and gain a new perspective on old relationships. When Venus is in retrograde, she also really brings out and touches on the hearts of people who are really seeking love and really want love in their lives, but at the same time feel unworthy of it. And it kind of brings up these emotions. So you can really work on practicing self-love so you can be more accepting of the love of others. Depending on where your Venus is in your birth chart can actually describe your aesthetics, your style, your taste, how you dress, how you value your opinion. And I find that super interesting. So it describes what qualities you look for in a partner and in a relationship, and along with what qualities you don't want. Literally tell you what you find attractive in a partner, as well as your attitude towards your relationships. My Venus is in Leo, which actually says that I am very romantic by nature. And I love that because I guess I am. I've always been the type of person that couldn't stay or be in a relationship if it wasn't full of love, unconditional, real love. And if I couldn't just stay in it if I was just comfortable, you know, like stay in it for the kids or stay in it because it's stable. And but that doesn't necessarily mean if there's no love in it, I just couldn't be a part of it. So this really explains me a lot. And it also says that with my Venus in Leo that I express my love through creativity, through poems and pictures and artwork. And it's so true. I could literally show you all of these different cards and creations that I've made for my husband on Valentine's Day and Father's Day and holidays. So I share my passion through creative expression. And I prefer to express feelings of affection through songs, pictures, poems, anything like a die-hard romantic would, I guess. Along with being romantic by nature, apparently I am a possessive lover, and it also describes me as I feel entitled to flirt, which I never really looked at it that way. I know that I have a very flirtatious personality towards everybody. That's just how I've always been, but I didn't realize that I felt like I was entitled to do that. Obviously, since I've been married, I don't flirt that I'm aware of. So, but definitely before I was married, I guess you could call me a pretty big flirt. And it was right there in my Venus the whole time. Had no idea. Venus in Leo also describes me as somebody who needs a lot of time and attention. And I'm not gonna lie, especially in the beginning stages of meeting my husband, I was very, very needy for attention. Obviously wanted him always around me, almost attached to my hip. It's not like that so bad anymore, but it definitely was to start off. Having my Venus in Leo means that I want complete devotion to me, which I thought that everybody was like that, but it is true. I definitely want my husband, or wanted my partner in a relationship, to have complete devotion to me at the time, as well as needing or wanting to be courted. And it's true, or having a whirlwind romance, being swept right off your feet. And that's exactly what happened. My husband is my twin flame, and I had quite a few relationships that didn't work out before then, and I never had that whirlwind romance, that head over heels, and it was always something that I desired. And I'm pretty sure that I manifested meeting my husband again in this lifetime, because it was when most girls dream about what their wedding is going to look like. I just would dream of that love, that deep, unconditional love between two people. So yes, as far as wanting to be courted, I wouldn't say that I made him do like all of the things back in the day someone would do to be courted, but he definitely, my husband has always opened my car door for me. He even still does, and we have a bunch of toddlers, and I really thought it was only going to last up until we got married, but it's been 7 years now. He still opens my door for me. He still does little sweet things for me to make me feel, to know that I am loved and appreciated and needed, and apparently all of this was in my Venus the whole time. So I highly recommend going to check out your birth chart, see where your Venus placement is, and then, you know, Google Venus in wherever and go ahead and read some more about yourself and see what qualities on there you already knew and what you didn't, or what you did but subconsciously you're trying to pretend that you don't. So lastly, with my Venus in Leo, it explains that I am proud and boastful in love, which I literally just posted a picture of my husband and I kissing with a quote on Facebook the other day. It's not something I do all the time, but I'm definitely very proud and boastful in my love. And then aside from that, it explains that I love to give gifts. I love to give generous gifts, special gifts. And I sure do. I love gift giving. So, crazy, right? So my need for love is stronger than my need for sex. And I always knew that too. And if your Venus is in Leo, you're just going to have a magnificent outlook on love. It's just so grand, and love is just, you're just a die-hard romantic. It could almost seem like, okay, that could be for anybody, not just necessarily someone with their Venus in Leo. But my husband has his Venus in Capricorn, and his description of how he feels about love is entirely different from mine. States that he values commitment and stability, and that he's a hard worker, and he values taking care of his family, taking care of his partner. It describes him valuing a long-term relationship, and that being responsible and disciplined is how he shows his love. And it couldn't be more right. So no, they're not. I might be reading mine as Venus and Leo, and you're like, oh, well, that's me, and that could be anybody. But it's different because I am definitely not a Venus in Capricorn. You can definitely, I mean, not that I don't value the long term, but as far as what I value the most about love is definitely not the same things that my husband values most about love. And I feel like you could also look at this as the 5 love languages and kind of separate it there, which has me curious if different people's love language for giving and receiving love are the same or different according to where their Venus is in their birth chart. Ooh, very interesting there. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up today's All About Venus. If anything, I hope you take something away from this video, even if it's just that Venus is a feminine planet about love and money, and when she is in retrograde, it's only every 18 months. And when she's in retrograde, this really means that you could be having conflicts in your relationship. You could be getting exit messages from an ex. That was another thing. So if your partner gets a message from an ex when Venus is in retrograde, try to give them a break. Try not to freak out on them, because this is something out of their control. I mean, obviously, if they're just receiving a text and not responding or anything, don't be getting on your partner, because this is the time when that kind of stuff happens. And today Mercury goes in the retrograde, and we are all set with Venus until the end of the year, but it's definitely good to know what to expect when the time comes. All right, guys, love, light, and blessings. Have a super awesome Saturday, and I will be back with you tomorrow with another astrology lesson. Bye.